أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
الصلاة والسلام عليك يا حبيب الله.
إياكم والخضراء الدمى. Beware of beautiful crops that germinated and grew from bad fertilizer. Beware of beautiful crops that germinated and grew with bad fertilizer. Look at these beautiful words of the promise. When the disciples asked, "Oh, Mr. explain yourself, what do you mean?" The prophet said, "Beautiful women who grew up in filthy environment, a filthy society." After the prophet said, "Don't marry them because of their beauty, they'll disgrace you. Don't marry them because of their wealth, they will disobey you." The prophet said, "Go for the woman who has taqwa, piety. Talibat yadak, she will help you to enter the paradise." And the prophet said, "Allah shows mercy. Allah showers His mercy on a woman who sees her husband sleeping when it is time to pray Fajr. And then she sprinkles water. She sprinkles water in his face for him to get up for his Fajr. I don't mean you should drown him while he's sleeping. Just sprinkle the water in his face for him to get up. The prophet said, if you do that, you, the woman, Allah showers His blessing upon you. You know the goodness of a man by looking at the woman who he chooses to marry. If he chooses a pious wife, a practicing Muslim woman, that's a good man. If he chooses a woman who walks around in tight jeans and her hair hanging down her hip, then you know that this man, he doesn't prioritize in his need. Allah values the household work of a woman. So Allah makes the man the provider. Not the woman, the man. And the job of the woman inside the house is a more professional job than the man working outside the house as a doctor, a solicitor, an engineer, and so on and so forth. Her job inside the house is more valuable and it's a more professional job. Do you know why? Because first, you have to be a mother. Secondly, you have to be a teacher, teaching your children. Thirdly, you have to be a psychologist. Fourth, you have to be a nurse. Fifth, you have to be an economist. Sixth, you have to be a counselor. You name it. You, the housewife, you are everything where profession is concerned, because you are the orientator of the future generation. So your job inside the house should not be looked down upon. It is valued. And when you see pious children in the society, the reason why they have piety in them is because they are coming from a pious home with a pious mother. As I said before, the Rasul gave women the right to live. So he said, any man who has 2 daughters and he looked after them until they reach puberty, teach them Islam, then marry them off to pious men, he shall be with me in paradise like this. And he put his 2 fingers together. The Prophet was very kind to women. We must not forget the story of Aisha radiallahu anha, a girl who was approximately 16 years old, speaking to the Prophet, the wife of the Prophet, and she was raising her voice to the Prophet. And her father, Abu Bakr, was very surprised because when they speak to him, they say, Ya Rasulullah, Ya Nabiullah. They don't call him by his name, they address him by his title, O Messenger of Allah, O Prophet of Allah. So to see this little girl who was only 16, raising her voice to the Prophet, he was taken aback, he was startled. So he raised his hand and hit her across the face, and she ran and hid behind the back of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the Prophet said to Abu Bakr, "Oh Abu Bakr, this is a family affair. This matter is a family affair." So even though she raised her voice to the Prophet still took sides with her and gave her moral support. On another occasion, the Prophet was sitting with some women. And they were speaking to him, and they felt relaxed in his company. And their voice was raised a bit, and they were asking the Prophet for more maintenance from their husbands. When these women heard the voice of Omar, they got up and they ran away behind curtains. Omar said, "You women, you are enemies of yourself. Look how you were sitting in the midst of the Prophet and you were comfortable speaking to the Prophet also." And as soon as they heard my voice, they got up and ran away. The woman turned to Omar and said, "Oh Omar, how dare you compare yourself to the Prophet?" The Prophet is soft, kind-hearted, tender, approachable. But as for you, Omar, you are harsh, you are coarse. So we feel comfortable in the midst of the Prophet, not your midst. And the Prophet was laughing when they got up and ran away. And the Prophet said, "Oh Omar, never the shaitan sees you walking on the road, except the shaitan has to walk on the other side of the road." So even the shaitan was afraid of Omar, so what about these women? And the Prophet said, "Omar, you are like the angel Gabriel, harsh. And you are like Prophet Musa, harsh. The opposite of Abu Bakr Siddiq. Abu Bakr was like angel Mikael, soft. And the Prophet Jesus, soft. It's not just these women who were afraid of Omar, nor the shaitan, but the entire Muslim Ummah, they were afraid of Omar. One day a man went to the battlefield to fight. And news spread that his wife is pregnant. And the baby is not his. And the rumor became so strong it reached the ears of Omar. So Omar sent a message to her, tell her Omar wants to see her, to speak to her. This woman was so afraid of Omar that as she was walking down the road to go to Omar to see him, she was overwhelmed with fright and fear. So as she was walking down the road, she had a miscarriage. When that took place, Omar gathered all his scholars of Medina and said, "What do you think I should do with this woman? Should I compensate her? Or should I not compensate her?" The scholar of Medina said, "Don't compensate her. You are a Catholic. If you hear a rumor, it's your right to investigate the rumor. You didn't do anything wrong." Up until now, Ali didn't utter a word. He kept quiet. Then Omar turned to Ali and said, "What do you think, Abul Hassan?" That was his kunya, Abul Hassan. Ali said, "If I should agree with what they just said, I'll be lying to myself. Omar, you're wrong. You should compensate the woman."